I found the button. Okay, we should be in business now. Just there's a slight lag, so just wait a few seconds and we should be. Let's see. Are we live? Are we live? We're alive! We're alive! Roger, you're on form today. You're very droll. You're very droll today. Okay. So, right, here we go. So I am going to attempt to do the introductions. So let me just see, does everything look okay on YouTube? Yeah, everything looks okay. And we are audible, I assume. Hopefully somebody will tell us if we're not. So right, let's go through the introduction. So I've got some various bits and bobs here lined up to introduce each of you. So we'll do it in the order that I've just put it into this kind of playlist, if you like. So Roger, you are up first. So I think we should assume that not everybody knows who we are, even though we've had this gathering before. It was a good sort of 6 months ago or so. So Roger, perhaps you could sort of tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've done and what you've done since last time, really. You are droll today, Roger. Mm-hmm. Cool. Ah, right. Okay. Right. So I have this little clip for you. Do you want to tell a little bit about it before I play? Okay, great. So here we go.
And get me the first 2 chapter response papers by Tuesday night.
Okay.
Hey Veronica, it's Ted from SUNY Lockport. I wish I had better news. It was the Dean of Academics call. I appreciate your willingness to cover for Nora on such short notice, and the department sends their regards. Hey, let me know if you want to get together and talk about it. Okay, good luck out there. I'm sorry it didn't work out this time.
Ah, this is so fraught. This is so fraught because of the time delay as well. So it was just a black box there for ages. I didn't realize it had actually finished. Because I was looking on YouTube, I wasn't looking on my thing. All right, so I hope that came through. I think it did. but there are some comments about volume. I mean, Roger, say a few words and let's see what people say. Yeah, yes, it's fine on my. It's absolutely fine for me. Is everyone else hearing everyone else okay? Yeah. Okay, great. All right, thank you, Roger.
And get me the first 2 chapters.
I mean, that was beautiful. I absolutely love that piece of music. I did write to you, and I think it's really beautiful. Honestly, genuinely, I enjoyed it very much. So, is there anything else you want to say about that before we move on about that clip, having seen it?
The actual idea behind this was the director and some wanted music that came to it for a friend of mine in Buffalo, and they insisted he had something because otherwise 20 minutes like nothing whatsoever could run them from trouble crying. So I tried to keep things really simple. The actual noting there is 3 notes, and it's basically what I've used in various parts throughout the production. So it's a little bit of a like noting that kept it really simple.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Guys, any comments, feedback, questions? You didn't hear it. Okay. Kudos. All right, so who's next in my list? We've got Matthew next. Matthew, you're up next. Matthew also sent out, well, so Matthew, tell us about you and what you've been up to and stuff. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Are you still doing the karate piano or whatever it was you mentioned? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Excellent. So that's. Yeah, I can imagine. Is it bearing fruit? Yeah. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Cool. And that's something you're intending to continue sort of long term? Yeah? Cool. Oh yeah? There we are. Pressure is good. Okay. Good. So what about the show reel? Because I'm going to cue that up in a second. Is there anything you want to say before I play it? Okay, let's see. I'll play it now.
In almost all ways, I am so much like you. I am a subjective and unique human being, one of nearly 8 billion. alone, and yet connected.
It's been really interesting for me as a composer trying to get Rob's ideas down and his experiences, specifically the emotions behind it all and the looming presences. So I've been trying to represent that in my music and make it very unsettling. Another aspect has been playing with time signatures. So we did one of the movements in a 5 count, which represents the 1 in 5 people living in the UK that are living with dyslexia.
Matthew, thank you. That really was genuinely, honestly wonderful. And yeah, so I wanted to ask you actually, I don't know whether this is a good moment, it probably is, about this. You've had some success, yeah, with one of the short films that you're involved in. You've been very modest and not mentioned that, but can you perhaps...
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so... yeah, a short film about ice, I think is...
Yes,
the,
yes.
Yeah, so yeah,
Thank
so this
you.
it's been doing a sort of tour of the European
Festivals.
film festivals, and
Nice.
and it's picked up quite a number of awards and some really good, quite significant ones for its field. So it's almost like a doctorate filmmaking, PhD filmmaking in sciences. So it was filmed in Svalbard, and it won. What's it called? This is where you put me on the spot. Research and Film Awards in London, and it won the best climate change documentary. And the kind of prize is funding to make the next film for the filmmaker, which is incredible. So yeah, it's done really, really well. It's a really beautiful film. So I'm hoping that it gets a wider release.
Excellent.
I think if you go on the director's website, you can watch a 10-minute excerpt of it. So yeah, look it up, a short film about ice, and it's directed by Adam Leahy.
Okay, and how long is the whole film?
It's about 30 minutes. I
Okay,
think.
right.
It's really beautiful.
And just if you can share with us, how did you get involved? Have you worked with the director before, or how did that come about?
Yeah, I have worked with him before, and it was sort of a little bit convoluted, but I've done a couple of projects with him, and he had some music in this film already by John Luther Adams, the well-known composer, and basically he couldn't get licensing for it in the end. So he contacted me and he said, I really need some ambient music, and I've been working on an ambient EP, and I sent it over, and he was really over the moon with it, and I think he actually kind of in the end felt that it fitted the film in a different way, a little bit better than the original music he'd chosen. So nice opportunity for me. That kind of came a little bit out of the blue, but the music in the film just fits. It's kind of strange. It was one of those weird things where he was making a very reflective film and I was making some really reflective music, and they just married up together at the same time. It was quite
really
lucky.
cool.
Yeah. It was very
Congrats.
nice. Thank you.
Fantastic. So is there anything else in the works with him, do you think, or it's still...
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, hopefully we're going to collaborate on his next project. And he was the director of photography from the feature film that I made that was supposed to be out last year. And I remember talking about it at the last round table. But the release date's been put back due to COVID. So it's going to get a summer release this year. So, looking forward to that one as well.
Right. Excellent. Well done.
Thank you.
That's really great. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right, cool. Moving on. We're going to get the intros done and it'll be time to finish. Andy, you're up.
Hello.
This is in no particular order. I don't want any egos to be affronted or anything. Andy, bring us up to speed. Tell us who you are for those who haven't tuned in last time.
I'm Andy. I'm in Cardiff, unfortunately. I'm not a composer really. I just started
for God's sake,
writing
Andy.
music
Stop it.
beginning of first lockdown, and I just bought loads of kit, and I won that first competition, which was a nice boost for me. And I'm not looking to do any of this professionally. I write games for a living, so I haven't really got time for much else. As for what I've been doing for the past year, not a lot. I've been furloughed for most of the year. I did the spring, the score relief competition.
Excellent. Good man.
I did do some music for a game that's coming up. It's an arcade game from Sega, and I'm not allowed to say what it is.
Right.
But you may get a hint if that's what Brian's going to play. I'm not sure what he's going to play.
I am. I'm gonna. So I've got two of them queued up. Shall I play a snippet of both?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Here we go. you kill the speakers? Kill. Thank you. The problem is, guys, that we have this lag, you see, so it's still playing on YouTube, but you know, there's a lag. There's like, I don't know, 20 seconds lag or something. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Very.
Probably guess what the game is now from that. But
I certainly couldn't guess because I know nothing about games, but maybe those in the know could guess. But
it's
yeah.
based on a Spielberg IP.
Okay. Anything more you want to tell us?
Exciting. That's exciting.
Well, I don't work for Sega anymore, so they can't fire me. They sue me.
So you were doing music as a kind of little side extra thing for Sega, is that right?
Well,
You were kind
I
of...
actually wrote the game.
Oh, nice.
Fantastic.
I was lead developer on it. It was me and another guy and two artists wrote it. And it's for arcades, so it's not going to be for the home. It's going to be we'll be pumping pound coins into it. But it's been delayed because of the pandemic. But hopefully it should be coming out this summer.
Okay.
Great music, Andy. For someone who
I actually only did the music because our composer went AWOL.
Oh gosh.
We thought we'd have to release it without much music, so I just did it. So
I mean, Andy, I feel like I don't know how to put this. You last time I felt like you were a little bit more like, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm working towards, and now you're a little bit like, I'm not a musician, I'm not a composer, this isn't what I'm going to be doing.
Well, real life's got in the way, really.
Yeah.
I started a new job. I haven't got time to do anything other than that, really.
Right.
So once that calms down, I've only been there a month. When it calms down, then I'm going to start again. I did start Wicking Fen again.
Right.
Today.
Excellent.
I spent the last 2 days downloading all of East West's new the Opus stuff.
The Opus, yeah.
Okay.
And
just the strings are nearly filling my drive.
So is it a new release? It's an update of what you already had or something?
Yeah, it's the Opus edition, which it's got a much better player. It's got quite a nifty little orchestrator as well.
Okay.
Which everyone's raving about. It's a bit like those Casio keyboards, so you pressed one key and it played sort of beat combo thing.
Right.
So I don't think it's quite up to what they're making out to be. But
is anyone else? Is anyone else here a East West aficionado?
Yeah, I use almost exclusively East West for the orchestrations, but I have the older because Opus is now out. So I have all 4 sections of the orchestra plus pianos, all the pianos. Yeah, but I am a hardcore East West fan. I love East West. Yeah.
Cool. Nobody else, yeah? Nobody else?
I used to have, I've still got a banker over East West Silver Edition, I think, at Orchestral Library. It's a really old one now, but I do still fall upon it from time to time if I'm looking for something in particular. But I should really take another look and see what they're up to these days. I'm going back a long time, so yeah, cool.
Yeah, I also use a bit of East West libraries, mainly for like not solo instrument, but you know, if I want a certain sound, like as Roger Navid said, if there's a certain sound I'm looking for that, you know, I would like to use my composition to mix it with the samples I have already. It's a nice kind of hybrid score thing. You're mixing different sample sets together and they work really well, I think. So yeah, definitely recommend East West sounds.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Next.
Not me, I'm afraid.
No.
No? I've never heard of it. I'm not that technical. I'll be honest. I make quite technical sounding music, but I'm really not that techie. And I know that there's so many plugins, so I kind of got myself a set of plugins, and I just stuck with it. That's
Do you-
me.
Do you think that some of these companies, you know, would be upset to be referred to as plugins?
Yeah, well, again, that's probably just me not being technical enough.
No,
to
I mean, I'm
describe
just
them in the right way. 'Cause they're instruments, you know. They are they're instruments. They are instruments in the same way that, you know, that they're quite meta, but they're. You could argue that it's no different playing a real instrument if you're writing for it. But yeah.
So what are your tools of choice then, Matthew? What do you use when you're writing and creating?
So I have a couple of analog synths. I've got a Juno 6 Roland,
Nice.
which is really nice. An old school synth.
Wow.
I tend to manipulate my own, so I might get some samples, like orchestral hits, and stretch them and create new sounds. And then I use standard plugins again as well. I use quite a bit of Spitfire audio stuff, which I really like.
Right.
But I tend to mix it with other organic sounds.
So you're a bit of a craftsman. You're a bit of a sonic sort of experimenter, really.
Yeah, I like. Maybe it's because I can't afford all the plugins, or it's because they overwhelm me a little bit because there's too much choice. And when I get overwhelmed by choice, I tend to just revert to the smallest thing possible, and I have quite a narrow field.
I've never bought one. I rent mine.
Right, I didn't know you could rent them either.
Composer Cloud is
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's
Composer Cloud.
That's interesting. I'll have to look into that.
Does anyone else here fiddle with knobs? Do you does anyone else play with analog or you know, experiment with sort of stretching samples and all that type of stuff? You know?
I've never gone that far. I'm a little like you. I'm a little bit less on the techie side, you know. So some of those libraries go back quite a bit. I've been discovering more of the Spitfire ones recently, and I find they're nice, manageable. I love the way they operate. The clip you played for me earlier was all done. I downloaded this thing called the British Drama Toolkit, and I use that almost exclusively on there, aside from the piano. And I just love the way it blended. It's a really nice, easy to use. For that sort of production I was working on, it was very nice and all really self-contained and easy to manipulate without drowning in like RAM and memory. So it wasn't too bad.
Right.
The Spitfire Labs is a lifesaver for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know that they released another one like about 4 years ago, the Auto Harp, I think. So
yeah.
So all I'm doing, I know last time when we spoke, I made a thing saying that, you know, we should create more instead of all the time stacking up. But I find now labs making me revert back to that habit, because every time they put out something, I have to get it. Labs, you know, besides being free, they are that good.
It's a nice little cash cow for you, Brian. The QTube instrument plugins.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should be sponsored by Spitfire the way this is going, you know.
Very true.
I agree.
We're doing a great job of selling their stuff.
You know.
Christian, I'm sure you're on YouTube watching us.
Christian, come on, Christian. All right, he gets a mention in almost every bloody video I do. Come on, where's the reciprocation, man? All right, so. Back to the introductions. Navid, you're up next. So introduce yourself for those that are new, and then bring us up to speed on what you've been doing since last time.
Okay, everybody on YouTube. My name is Navid Lancaster. I am a film composer and sound designer from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean, for those who don't know where that twin island state is. From the last time we spoke, some really great things has happened. Most of it in terms of work that I've done previously. So for example, I'll just bring it up here so I'll make sure I don't mess it up. A film that I had scored for, a short film called Immune. which is everything was done entirely in England, if I remember clearly, except the composing. So that was done by myself. We won the best quarantine film at the Alternative Film Festival for spring 2021.
Wow, great.
A while back, a film which I didn't compose for, but I did some technical work on it in terms of cleaning up the audio. It's a very short film called The Refugee, or The Refuge actually. That won Best Short at the, let me see it here, at the Bharat International Film Festival in Mumbai.
Fantastic.
And just last week, just last week, myself and Anthony Phils, who is an award-winning stack designer, we actually hosted a session at the Caribbean Girls Hackathon, dealing with an app that we co-created along with some other members of the team, an AR app, interactive learning, called Unbreakable, which won the silver medal at the International Designer Awards. And next week, on the 8th, because I'm in the middle of composing for it actually right now, I am composing the music for the prize giving ceremony at the hackathon. Basically, hackathon is basically inviting girls from various schools into STEM or STEAM. And basically increasing the capacity, the numerical capacity of young women entering into the ICT fields. And then a really cool thing happened literally about 3 days ago. Brian have seen it because I did put it online. I have just become an ambassador for the Creative Passport.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yes, you saw it too. I saw you mentioned something online. And basically what it is, it's made by musicians for musicians. Basically, the Creative Passport's vision is to create a fairer and more accountable data economy for the entire music industry. So think of it like your LinkedIn or your IMDb, but for musicians. So I have been using it for a while now. I've been on it for maybe about a month and a half, I think. And I've been just given the link, the front end, and people who have been given it to, whether they're musicians, non-musicians, prospective clients, they love it because you could go on that link and you see all my data. And by the way, the data is verifiable through IoT, which I know you all in Europe, I think, are more familiar with IoT. I was actually very new to it when I got into the Creative Passport. But the reason why I'm an ambassador, because I like it, I use it, and I urge all musicians, composers to sign up. And the cool thing about it, signing up is free. So with that said, I know I sent it to Brian. I am not really allowed to say what I'm working on in terms of some things that are coming up in terms of film. But since all of us are on the YouTube, and we are fortunate to be using the videos that Brian provides for us, I actually sent him my latest one. I like doing a lot of behind the scenes videos as well. So the video that you'll be seeing is from Speed, but it's not the video itself, it's the video plus you'll see all the tracks that are going on behind it.
All right.
So that's basically my intro.
Good introduction, thank you, Navid. So I will play a couple of minutes now of the behind the scenes video.
Sky over the Atlantic, the vast air ocean that must have stretched endlessly for Columbus.
The story of mankind is inextricably linked to his fascination with speed. Whether under his own power or by harnessing the power of nature, or through the development of more and more capable machines to propel him ever forward. This is a story about humans. This is the story of speed.
Guys, we're back. Kill your speakers. So yeah, thank you, Navid. Thank you so much for creating that for the community. That's really great. And you know, I mean, I generally get the feeling that these behind the scenes or walkthroughs or making of or whatever, that they are people are very interested in them. I generally get that impression, but then I don't get much feedback. So I assume that people consume them, enjoy them, find them useful, and then kind of move on. So I don't know whether there's a way that people would like them to be done more or in a different way, or which way of doing it people prefer. You know, there are lots of different ways of doing them. So
no one would want to see my behind the scenes, especially me swearing at the screen, throwing things around.
Well, it seems to work for you, Andy, I must say. You know, if it works for you, don't change it, don't knock it.
Right.
And Matthew's behind the scene would be quite interesting, I suspect.
Yeah, I'd probably be doing quite a lot of swearing as well, but swearing in a, I don't know, slow ambient way. So maybe stretch it out.
Navid, is any swearing involved in your process? I suspect not.
Yes, I do, but I make sure A, my mic is off, and B, I just record internal, so all the cursing will be outside.
Okay, good man. Good man.
I've actually had a lot of fun lately, just talking about the stretching thing, finding, and I don't know how legal this is, so I probably should be slightly cautious, but I don't think someone from my local village is going to sue me. But what I've started doing on it, some of my work lately, is finding YouTube videos of just random like parades and sounds and just events, just nicking the audio from it. So not official videos, literally people's phone videos, nicking the audio, stretching it, creating like binaural sounds so you can hear people talking and just more sound design basically. But it's kind of mental. Like you sometimes sit here and just think, what am I doing? Why am I listening to like the I don't know, Rose Day pageant like audio? But hey, a lot of it sneaked into my music and no one knows, but you know, it's fun.
Cool.
When I say legal, by the way, I mean legal nicking their sounds. I'm not stealing like, you know, anyone's real content.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Thank you. Great. So festival stuff seems to be quite good for a few of you. You know, that's an interesting topic in itself, I think. I mean, the success that you've had with festivals, you know, for those who are not in the know, like myself, how does it work? I mean, who takes responsibility for submitting it to festivals? What's the process, or is it completely different for every festival? I mean, what insight can you give us, Navid? I mean,
well, from what I've experienced, I don't have any part in that. It's usually the director and the producer. In the case of the McFarlanes, who did Immune, they're a husband and wife team, and they also had a couple other producers on the project as well. And they just submit, you know, to any festival that, you know, they think they could have a, for want of a better word, unfair advantage, because they know that winning a festival or being part of it is also marketing as well. You know, so yeah, they look at festivals which has some level of prestige and a possibility of winning their category, and then they submit.
And I mean, what's the sort of, you know, goal? Is it the prestige? Is it having the laurels, or is it that it helps you in the future to get finance for future projects? I mean, what's the main sort of?
All of the above.
Yeah. Just to add, unless Navid, you
go
want
on.
to say anything else. I was just going to say, just recently, my experience of this from a distance as a composer, is that you could submit. So if you're the director or the producer, you can submit your own film into film festivals. There's subsidiary sites. This might be of interest to some composers as well, who maybe are filmmakers or have done music videos. But so there's subsidiary sites where you can go through festivals and you choose them. You pay an application fee normally, but there's also, for slightly bigger releases or releases with the more of a budget, there's festival agencies that do that work for you.
Right.
So they'll decide whether they think that they can take your project on, and then they will distribute it. And the main aim, as you said, is laurels, you know, kudos, but also probably looking for distribution.
Right.
So a lot of films get picked up, you know, by maybe the streaming sites or a bigger film distribution that would maybe take it to the next level.
And I mean, for you guys working as the composers on those successful short films, has it helped you in some way? Has it opened any doors or anything for you?
Anybody? Because I mean, I'm going to say yes, because for me, I just use it as as leverage. The more leverage you have, you know, the more you'll be looked upon as a top tier, reliable composer.
Yeah.
I mean, even in the beginning of this aspect of my career, in 2012, I won. I scored the film Buck the Manspirit, which won. And then the year after, I scored Jab Me Dark, which won. And I just went in the papers and said, if you want your film to win an award, it has to pass through my hands. I just went out and said that in the media. I still have those newspaper clippings where I said that. It's a matter of, at least for me, it's not just bravado or ego. It's a matter of the reality that there's a lot of competition out there. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here with the panel. Every year, thousands upon thousands of people come out of film school or decide to get into film music, film composing. Yeah. And the competition is fierce. So any unfair advantage you have in terms of marketing, you know, you use it. Of course, that goes out saying you have to be putting out a certain level of work, you know, constantly and with a certain amount of quality, which everybody here on this panel I know does. Yeah. But the reality is, it's a business you're trying to build, a legacy you're trying to build, and the competition is very, very, very fierce.
So essentially, it's a nice entry on your CV, if you like, yeah, to say, I composed the music for this award-winning film. I mean, but what I was wondering was whether, as a result of that, you actually get people coming to you at all? Do you get people knocking on your door at all? Or is it just something that you can use yourself, you know, to kind of, you know, sell yourself, if you like? Matthew, what was your experience with what's happened with that film?
I guess it's tricky. It's slightly trickier at the moment because not as many things are being produced. But what I would say is that it tends to mean that the exposure that film gets gives you exposure. So you're always going to get more, you know, links in Twitter or whatever it is.
Followers and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Followers that people, and it also gives you more opportunities. If a film does well, be it a short film or a feature-length film, then, you know, if you want to, you can then release that on your own music platforms on Spotify and build your own following that way. And fans of the film will then want to look for you or look for that music. And if they find you, then obviously that increases all, you know, all your numbers in that respect. But I don't really pay that much attention to that. But it's, yeah, and I think for me, like personally, I just think you know, it gives you the confidence as a composer to think that you did a good job in that project. And it's not always going to be the case. You hope that it will be, but not every film is going to be a good film. Not every project is going to be a good project, but you can do your best. And when films do get recognition, and you've played a part in that, then it keeps, that's for me, that's what keeps you going. Regardless of financial aspects of whatever. I just think emotionally it keeps you going.
Yeah, sure. Cool.
To know that there's that value.
Okay, good. Right, Anthony, last but not least, I apologise for your lowly position in the league table, but there we are.
Okay.
Someone had to be number 5, so yeah.
We all have to start from somewhere.
Thank you for your patience.
That's okay. So hi everyone. For everyone who's not met me, I'm Anthony White, and I'm currently from I was brought up in Oxford and been living in Edinburgh for the past 6 years. I currently read music at the University of Aberdeen, where I'm currently the organ scholar at the university, and I compose choral music and music for film projects, so a multimedia composer. I haven't been as active as I have been because of lots of university assessments and deadlines. But my most recent endeavors are, I haven't sent this to Brian, but I received my first official IMDb credits earlier this year.
Yay!
About a month or two ago. So that's for a short film I was working on with a director who was at the same university as I am, but now studies at the University of Greenwich. I think she does filmography now. So that's my biggest kind of achievement. And I've worked on a couple of commissions. So there's a commission for organ and choir, which I composed, a new setting of The Lord Blessing Keep You, which is a psalm text from liturgical text. And the other commission I've been written for is the solo organ for Coventry Cathedral. And it's been a real big honour to do that, because Coventry Cathedral is a very iconic and historic landmark. And my friend Harvey Stansfield, who's currently the organ scholar there, performed it for me. Must be a week ago now. I've sent Brian a couple of things I've been working on. But I've got another potential film that I'll be working on in the summer, which is, we're having a production meeting, I think, tomorrow. So a pre-production meeting, so scripts kind of locking. And then hopefully we've got some projects and collaborations. I've collaborated with Matthew on a collaboration, and there's.
Hello.
Since university kind of.
There you go.
Oh dear. Right, I'll switch to his little.
That's me.
Okay. Yeah, we lost you a little bit. Do you want to repeat the last sort of 30 seconds?
Yeah. So, oh gosh, I don't know where I finished. But no, I've got a couple of plans to work on some films later this year, and I also worked on a very short kind of film that I produced myself for Earth Day, which I think Brian's got a link to. Yeah. But I literally put it within 72 hours, even less, maybe 27. I literally put the film together and coloured it and edited it and put the music together. It was very something similar, simple, but just a tribute for Earth Day for last Thursday. So,
wow, fantastic. Okay, I will now play those 2 things that you sent through. Just a sec. Okay, guys. Guys. Guys, kill the audio. Kill the audio. Thank you. Wow, excellent, Anthony. Thank you. Bravo. I think we should give a round of applause there.
Well done. Beautiful job.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Really
everyone.
beautiful.
Anthony, one of the things that strikes me from your activities, which I follow on social media, is that in the last few months it's the diversity of what you do. I mean, you've also been experimenting with some synth stuff and some video stuff and some choral stuff. I mean, you're all, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as a composer, it's important to have like a wide range of genres and, in different...
Oh dear.
I've been track, which I'm just doing for my personal kind of development, but no, I was brought up with the choral tradition since I was a young boy. So I used to sing in a choir. I was a chorister, and that's why I spent my younger years singing. And the church music and the choral music was something very special for me. And that kind of stayed on. And I love playing the organ. I love composing for organ. And so I had this opportunity to do that, and this is actually, ironically, my first organ piece I've ever composed.
Oh, yeah.
As an organist, you'd think I would. As an organist, you would think that I would compose more things for organ, but it's quite ironic. But no, it was. I did that, which is an incredible project, and I'm thankful to Harvey to giving its UK premiere on Sunday. But yeah, as I said, it's just having kind of wide set of skills, really. I'm just trying to widen my kind of palette, my compositional kind of skills. So, in trying, electronic music, EDM, that kind of thing. And subsequently, developing my film music kind of style and working my own kind of skills. Yeah.
And do you think that the film music is definitely the sort of career path that you want, or are you going to try and mix it up, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'll mix it up because as much as I love being kind of a multimedia composer, it's not going to be my kind of sole living. It's I'm going to hopefully work as a freelance composer. My main kind of interest is teaching. So I've been doing lots of teaching online via Zoom for students. Music theory, for example. And it's something I'd like to continue, and working alongside films, freelance productions for adverts, that kind of thing. And just kind of see where that goes. But I love what I do.
Yeah, good. That comes across. Yeah, good for you. All right, guys. Well, I mean, I really hugely apologise for those technical issues at the beginning. I mean, we're really eating into the time. I don't know how you guys are doing for time. But we had a question on the chat about theory, but we really discussed that last time. I don't really want to go into that again particularly. Unless there's something you want to say. It's just the question was simply, are you classically trained and does it help you, basically? But
I think some of us have been answering as we went along, actually. So most of it is actually being answered in the.
But there was one question that I really liked from Ed Prince, which was, are there any positive ways that the lockdown has affected your work, your composition? Your process, opportunities. Anybody want to start? Navid, you're nodding enthusiastically. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I took this opportunity. On a side note, Trinidad is in a sense almost in lockdown mode again until the 23rd of this month. Right. We got back some of the restrictions, which is unfortunate. But I realized when the pandemic really hit in the beginning of last year, that the people who are staying home aren't just the composers. The people who are also staying home are the heads of companies, heads of studios, and heads of various entertainment entities. So they're not going anywhere. So what they do, they go online and they search for talent. So I've been marketing my tail off, and pushing myself in a sense, in the kindest way possible, in front of people, to show them my work, which brings me back to thanking Brian for inventing the Q-tube, because he really expanded my portfolio.
Great.
And everybody else is here.
Great.
Good. Yes.
So you are to blame, Brian, for for me doing this.
This is great.
You know, I'm so with Navid though, because I didn't really compose any film music or to picture before the Q-tube.
It was sounding
that
so
kind of
good.
gave me an opportunity to have a go at doing something I'd never done before. And I've scored a couple of silent films, but it's given an opportunity, Brian. So thank you.
Yeah,
because
very welcome.
it's given me so much practice and
and
Yeah,
stuff
sure. Good for
and
you.
stuff. Yeah. Good. Oh, this is turning into a nice little promotion for the Q-tube. That wasn't my intention. Yeah, thanks, guys. It's really nice to hear that it's really inspired or helped or whatever. Or
Yeah, I could chip in there too, actually, if you don't mind. Last year I did the first. What was the name of the animated?
Caminandes. Caminandes.
Yeah, that's the one. That was my first time animating that sort of production, and it was a lot of fun to do. But since then, I mean, this short that you used to introduce me at the beginning, that's the first time I've done something on a short production basis as well, and I've been looking very much into that. I really enjoy the format, and I've been looking at a lot of the animated work these days, the animated shorts, and I really love the format of being able to put so much emotion into a story so quickly, and it's all condensed, and you just take it away and run with it. And sometimes the music is incredible, and it's wall to wall. So it's certainly, for me, it's made me reflect on the sort of direction I would like to go in my remaining years. So it's been a great opportunity. Yeah, a reflection.
Good.
I have to say as well, Brian, lockdown and especially the Q-tube got me started. I hadn't composed anything before that.
Really?
And it was Caminandes 3 that it took my imagination and cost me a lot of money, all the stuff I've had to buy, but it's been worth it.
That's great. This is good to hear. Is there anything else that's come up, do you think, by virtue of the lockdown situation and stuff? I mean, Navid... Go on. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, it's really fascinating to hear, and I think one thing the pandemic has brought out in everyone is some feeling of a new purpose, or through necessity or through some kind of existential crisis. But I think it's been really fascinating for me. And I had a very brief chat with you about this the other day, Brian, that I feel like actually one thing it's really actually made me think is that I don't want to just chase film music all the time. Like I really, it's what it's kind of exposed me to is this whole world of thousands and millions of other composers that are effectively competing for the same thing. And and that's amazing that there's so many talented people. But for me personally, I find that quite intimidating. And I didn't get a university education in film scoring or anything like that, or composition. So I always feel like I'm sort of, oh crikey, like, they probably know more than I know.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, totally. And it's kind of mad when you're actually working as a professional in that industry, and you still feel that way, but I think a lot of people do. But it kind of made me realize that actually what I really want to do is just compose and just be a composer, and because at the end of the day that's what I do, and that's what I love doing. I don't love composing for certain for any old project that I might get to work on. What I love doing is writing music, and I kind of felt like I just really wanted to develop my own practice, and in the hope that if you make good music, you will be found. It will happen for you if you create and if you work on your craft. And that's why the Q-tube is really great for lots of reasons, but also because it gives you an opportunity to work on your craft as well.
Cool.
but yeah, I've actually really taken a step back from trying to pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So probably the opposite of you, Navid, but equally, it's worked beneficially for both of us. But it's it's fascinating.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Do you find, even if you don't have a project, there's a general sort of question here, do you try to compose, this is something that's fairly new for me actually, but I do try to make a point of doing something each day, a couple of minutes in a different style or whatever, just to sit down and do something. And I never delete anything, everything gets saved, because you never know when it could, oh, I've got something that could be used for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping busy across the board as a musician and writing sort of on a daily basis, I think is always a very good practice. And you know, listen to it the following day and it sucks maybe, but it doesn't matter. You know, you're doing something, you're honing your craft, and it's always a good practice.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely keep like a bank of motifs or very short ideas. Maybe it's like 30 seconds or minutes. I just keep a whole folder, of subsections, uplifting music or ambient music. Just, I think it may sound horrible, as you say, but it's it may, you may take like those 2 notes or 3 notes and you think, oh, okay, you can use that in the film or in the production. So, I think it's invaluable, just even noting down something, even some manuscript paper or in a door. It's good to have that resource, because when you get that creative block and you can't think, I actually had this creative block last week. I was like, oh gosh, what am I going to submit for my assessment? I have no idea what I'm doing. I looked back at something I'd done. I was like, okay, those 2 notes were my inspiration. Okay, I'm going to compose from that and do that.
Right.
And that's how important having like a area where you can have all of these ideas stored is brilliant.
Yes, that's nice. And that's a great idea, actually. I sometimes just set myself a limit. Okay, I'm going to compose for this small number of instruments that the palette is set out, and then see what we can do with it. And it's a great practice as well, instead of just looking at this giant canvas, like, where do you start? So, yeah, I've done that. And yeah, I always have a piece of manuscript paper. Sometimes I'll be watching a TV show and sort of like, I'll be right back, when I come in here and just, not pinching, but just a little moment of inspiration that I look at, and then it develops into something, or not. Yeah, good idea.
Excellent. So just quickly, let's discuss one more question, and I think we'll have to close. Besides the Q2, which I'm very grateful to you all for sort of, talking about, that's wonderful. What else have you found as sort of resources that have helped you, inspired you, maybe educational resources, little YouTube channels perhaps that you've discovered since last time? And we discussed quite a few last time. Is there anything that you've discovered more recently that's really got your creative juices flowing? Anybody?
People may hate me for saying this, but go to YouTube and look up a channel called Sideways.
Mm-hmm.
This guy critiques films like nobody's business.
Okay.
He did one on Cats, for example, the film Cats. He ripped it apart for about an hour. But everything he says, as funny as it is logical. It makes total sense, because, like, for example, with Cats, he compared the reasoning behind the Broadway show versus the film, and totally gives a breakdown of why the film was so bad, and why it did so poorly at the box office. Because basically the Broadway version, the original version, the concept is going one direction, and the film went another direction completely.
Yeah.
Right down in terms of not just the music, but also in terms of the recording of the sound, where certain people were not dancing to click track, or singing to click track, singing off key, that kind of thing. So he really broke that down. So I love that channel. And another channel is somebody we spoke of in our last roundtable, Tactical, right? Who is now the head lead designer of Musco, and he actually now is the lead designer, I think, for Audacity. So users of Audacity going to expect some design changes coming up.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyone else discovered any gems recently? Inspiration or opportunities? I mean, did anybody see that BBC thing where they were offering opportunities to UK-based sound designers. It was more of a sound design thing.
Yes.
Did anybody see that? That was pretty cool, I thought. Anything else that you've discovered lately? Inspiration or opportunities or communities even? Things like that?
How to repair a crashed external drive, but
oh my god,
that's another story.
Oh my god.
Ouch. Ow.
I got it. I'm still here. It's all still good. It's fine.
Did
But
you
that was my swearing session a couple of weeks back.
So you managed to do it, yeah?
My computer decided to update to Big Sur, the OS,
yeah,
and that totally screwed up everything. So I had to go back to reinstall what I had before, and it just that involved like reformatting the hard disk from scratch more or less. It's good that I have a time machine. Time machine is a good idea.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Backups in general, yeah. Anyone else? Any quickies?
Backups.
No. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. I apologise once more for those technical hitches. I really appreciate it. It's a shame that we don't have more time, but you know, we can do more of these if you're willing and available. And maybe next time we can just go straight into questions and discussions instead of the intros. I mean, it's nice to show your work, but I think it's also nice to have some meaty discussions. So let's try and focus on that a little bit next time.
Good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Very nice. Very nice to see you. All right, take care, guys. See you next time.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Brian.
See you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye. See ya.
See you. Take care. Bye-bye.